Christmas and the period leading up to the festive time is the perfect time to be creating your own personalised decor. And don't forget your Christmas table. Now, this simple cutlery holder or napkin ring, as it can also be adapted to be one of those as well, is really easy to make, but we've made it even simpler for you because we have supplied you with the SVG to cut it out on your electronic cutting machine. So you can personalise this by handwriting or using the pen within your machine to put a name on there. You could even put menu choices on the back as well. And I've also created in this video the same item but as a plate table placemat as well. I've used my Cricut machine to cut these out, but you can use other machines as well. And of course you can change up the colours, changing your cardstock so it suits your colour scheme. You'll find a link for that SVG file down below, and of course on CraftStash you can shop all your Cricut tools, materials, and of course machines. Machines come with free next day delivery, and you know you're going to get the best price guarantee on everything. Again, see down below for all the details. So you want to download the free file that we've given you that is the snowflake shape with the cutout lines. Now, before you actually send this to cut in your machine, you're going to want to check the size of your knife and fork that's going to go into it, or spoon and fork, whatever it may be. It may just be for dessert. So take yourself a ruler, and two things you need to measure. Firstly, the length. Now, chances are that your knife and fork is actually going to be longer than the snowflake, and that's fine. I think that looks good. But just make sure they're not it's not crazy longer. So my knife is the longest, that's 23 centimeters. If I bring this over here, that's bringing it up around about 2 centimeters top and bottom, or around about an inch or so either side. So that's fine. I'm happy with that little bit of overlap. Now the most important thing is going to be the gap or the space between the two handles here. So if you just want to measure along here, now you're going to feed your knife and fork through from the bottom, so you can just worry about the width from the widest part of the bottoms, and this is, you're looking at around about 6 centimeters to be able to slide both in and have them evenly spaced. So again, just check that you've got at least that on the lines when you resize your snowflake. So just make sure it's large enough for each of those elements. So I've also cut myself a slightly smaller version of this. I used the offset tool in Cricut Design Space. So this has just made it, like I say, slightly smaller. Now this is going to go on the reverse, and I'm going to adhere this on. Now, what I can do then is, once the person sitting with this at their table has made their menu choices, I can write them on the back. Alternatively, I can just use that to strengthen the cardstock, either way. Now you can of course cut this from other materials as well. So you can cut this from something like a felt, you can use like a pleather or a faux leather. There's different plastic materials on the market that you can purchase that will go through your cutting machine, so have a play around with those. I find cardstock brilliant because each year I can change my colour combinations and just work with what my decor is. So I'm going to apply my glue. Now I'm going to go down the side of the two lines, the top and bottom of each of the lines as well. I'm going to put a line of glue along each of the snowflakes as well, keeping to the very centres. And then adhere my offset one over the top. Now when I offset this in Cricut Design Space, make sure you go for a negative offset. That brings it smaller rather than the opposite, which of course makes it larger. There we go. So that's on the back. Now the front, I can add glitter to this. I can add sequins if I want some sparkle. I could ink around the edges. I'm going to keep this one quite plain because it's a nice simple quick project for you. But because we've not added any glue there, you should be able to easily feed your knife and fork through there. But before we do that, what I have included in the file for you is a name tag. So this is a square that will fit exactly inside there. This is providing that you make sure you don't resize any of the elements separately, so make sure everything's always resized together. The tag will still sit there. So I've done some lettering. Just a quick tip for you though, because I did this. I started lettering in front of my machine and forgot that the mat would come out and push my hand. So That's why I've got two versions, one on the back, one on the front. So I had to redo it on the front, but that's all going to be glued down. That has just gone between the lines. So because it's between the lines, I've still got the ability to lift up this space. So let me just show you here. There we go. So I've still got that gap. So I'm just going to open that up a little bit, as you can see. There we go. Just pressing that in, making sure that glue's all dried around the tab there. Again, if you want to add glitter, sequins, gems, pearls, things like that for sparkle, that would be perfect. And let's just pop our knife and fork in to check that this all fits okay. Perfect, that's brilliant. Now what I also did is I cut two other versions. That's a really large one, and this time I measured the size of my plate, and what I did is I ungrouped everything in Cricut Design Space and I removed the two lines, the cut lines. I then created another offset slightly smaller again, and this is going to sit on the middle. Now the reason I've done this so big is for my plate. So my dinner plates, I've now made myself a coordinating placemat as well. And again, this can be from any material that you like. So I'm going to glue these together and then get my table set. So I think you'll agree this makes the perfect personalised festive table place setting that you can create using the free downloadable SVG file and cut using any electronic cutting machine that you have. If you like projects like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and of course have a look at the Cricut project playlist that we have for you as well. Follow this link also to find that SVG file.